Now at 6, the possibility that a historic theater in Pittsburgh might transform into a business school. Plus, the Agape boarding school in Cedar County, Missouri once again becomes the target of a lawsuit, this time for wrongful death. And it's back to business for a Joplin bank after an SUV crashes into it.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The historic Colonial Fox Theater in Pittsburgh could get a new life. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Dow Quick. The Fox Theater Foundation tells us they're in discussions with Pitt State to use the building as part of the Kels Business School. Pitt State says they're still working through the partnership details. The building has long been part of the fabric of the community.
It has not changed. What you're looking at around us right now is very similar. The changes that were made were due to within the last 15 years, there was a effort to raise money to finish this.
The back then Colonial Theater was opened in 1920. 60 years later, the Fox Theater closed and remained vacant for more than 20 years. Since 2006, the Colonial Fox Theater Foundation has been raising funds to restore the building. Over the years, more than $2 million have been put into infrastructure and capital improvements. Tomorrow and Friday, the Fox Theater will host its last movie sessions. Kind of damp and dreary out there. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
It is a little bit on the wet side, so if you are going to be out this evening, make sure you're careful on the roadways as they are wet. You can see they're wet in Joplin, they're wet in Pittsburgh as well, as we have periods of mainly light showers, which is continuing to work through. You can see batch number 1, a little secondary batch once you get down through southern parts of Oklahoma. Now where you see the yellows, the rain's a little bit more persistent. It's not heavy, but pockets Nevada over to Fort Scott, Iola. We have another pocket from Pittsburgh, Carthage, Joplin, down towards Seneca. And this is what we're going to see as we go through the evening hours. Most of us have dropped back mid to upper 60s. We'll hang in the 60s tonight, on and off showers throughout the night and really over the next several days. So of course, we're going to be looking at that here in just a bit.
See you soon. Police in Lamar, Missouri say they've arrested 2 more suspects in the stabbing of a student. The incident happened Friday night near the football stadium after a home football game. Police say 3 male juveniles waited hidden between parked cars before attacking 2 male students. One victim, who's 15 years old, was punched in the face. The other, a 14-year-old, was stabbed multiple times. He was released from the hospital on Sunday. One suspect was arrested over the weekend, meaning now 3 have been arrested in total. Police say they are all from Pittsburgh. The suspects are. They are ages 14, 14, and 16. All 3 are charged with first-degree assault. Kansas' mother says a shuttered boarding school in Missouri is responsible for her son's suicide. Kathleen Britt is suing Agape boarding school in Cedar County for her son's death, which she blames on a gang rape and other abuse he endured there. Agape boarding school has been inundated with numerous lawsuits, but this appears to be the first wrongful death suit. Britt alleges mental health problems plagued her son, Jason, after he left the private school, where several staffers subsequently were charged. A Galena, Kansas man is going to prison for meth trafficking and illegal possession of a firearm. A judge sentenced Carlos Gandy to 20 years in federal prison without parole. Gandy pleaded guilty to intent to distribute meth and possessing a firearm in furtherance of a drug trafficking crime. Gandy was sentenced as an armed career criminal due to his prior felony convictions. An inspector says a bank on Joplin's North Range line is safe for occupancy despite an overnight crash into the building. Look at this. Authorities say an SUV left the road and struck the Southwest Missouri Bank at Zora and Range Line around 9:30 last night. Police say the driver had experienced a medical emergency but was not injured in the crash. Small towns across Arkansas are becoming the unwilling hosts of cryptocurrency mining facilities, hooking up to their power grids and evoking increasing outcry among locals. Reporter Andrew Mobley has details.
A law passed at the legislative session earlier this year, Act 851, rolled out the welcome mat for crypto mining businesses in the state, largely preventing local government from regulating them. Arkansas Senator Brian King requested the repeal of Act 851 during September's special session, but the motion was shot down. Since then, King has requested records pertaining to crypto mines and Act 851 from a governor's office staffer, Legislative Director Jamie Barker.
He's one of them that had a meeting here recently that I was not invited to. He seems to be the one that I think that needs to be the one answering questions, and unfortunately, he's not.
King's request was denied by the governor's office, which asserted that by statute and case law, the records he requested were exempt from Arkansas's Freedom of Information laws. King has also criticized the governor for not putting the issue of crypto mining in Act 851 in the call for September's special session.
Whether it's the governor's office and these legislators up here, why are they protecting Chinese interests out there that are putting assets like this right next to our substations? We need to have answers about why they are being obstructionists to trying to get this repealed and give cities and counties the right to be able to decide what they want.
Senator Joshua Bryant, who sponsored Act 851, provided the following statement in response. Private property rights are paramount in our state constitution. Regardless of the passage of Act 851, the individual has always had a right to use their property as they see fit. Act 851 simply requires those that operate crypto mining data centers to comply with all local laws and regulations, pay taxes, and shut off in the event of power demand. In no way does Act 851 limit the ability of local control in the operation or zoning of these facilities. However, it does prevent local government from banning them from simply wanting to exist. As lawmakers begin to ask questions, crypto miners continue to buy property for new facilities around the state, for better or for worse.
Locals in DeWitt, Arkansas are considering a potential lawsuit to determine the constitutionality of Act 851. Coming up later, folks in Joplin get a chance to meet the members of the Lions 2023 basketball teams. John's going to have details for us in sports. But first, a unique gun buyback program in Tulsa, Oklahoma allows people to drop off their firearms to repurpose into garden tools. People heal. Alexandra Blake spoke with one volunteer on why she turned out.
This is deeply personal for me.
Rebecca Fincher is volunteering at Guns to Garden Tools, a safe place to anonymously dispose firearms. She's there not only to support a good cause, but to prevent other families from enduring her pain.
In 2021, my 20-year-old son was killed, actually just a few blocks from here. He was in his apartment on a Saturday afternoon and a bullet came through the wall and he was shot in the head and killed. He spent 4 days in ICU. He never regained consciousness. He left behind his pregnant wife.
It's not just about discarding, but rather repurposing.
This project is all about transformation. It's about transforming something that is created to kill into something that's created to give life.
Blacksmiths transform the unwanted guns into garden tools. The tools then become gifts for survivors and families shattered by gun violence.
People hear the term gun violence and they think of, criminals shooting each other in the streets, murder, homicide. When we talk about gun violence, we're talking about suicide, we're talking about domestic violence. We're even talking about unintentional shootings. So it's a much broader picture, I think, than most people realize.
At last year's event, Fincher says she turned in a gun she inherited but didn't need. City Councilor Krista Patrick says this exchange is not anti-gun but pro-gun safety.
It's a way to heal when someone has suffered trauma due to the hands of a gun. It's a way to give back to them, to give them an active way to process the trauma.
And hopefully some lives will be saved because of this. If only one person doesn't have to go through that, that's worth it for me.
Organizers say the garden tools will be presented to the families in a special ceremony planned for February. A little bit later, AAA says if you have an older vehicle, now is the time to prepare it for winter.
Plus, you need to prepare for rain, on and off showers throughout the week. We're going to be looking at that coming up next.
It's one of the most exciting times of the year for high school.
Well, it's turned out to be a wet one for us today. On and off, mainly light showers across the region, but these are going to be sticking around pretty much all week long. You can see it's wet outside right now. This is one of our new tower cams. This is downtown Joplin, the Cornell complex. So we're looking at downtown. You can actually see the rain, which has been pushing through. over the past several hours. So if you are going to be out this evening, be careful because some of the roads, they are going to be on the wet side. All right, look at the bands of light showers. Now where you see the yellows, that is some moderate rain, but in general, this is fairly light. You can see a batch riding northeast along I-44, and then another batch out across southeastern parts of Kansas. We're going to take a little bit of a tour from Fort Scott, Iola, Chanute, Yates Center, Fredonia, and then just drizzle the rest of southeastern Kansas. One little shower just to the south of Miami, picking up a little bit western McDonald County through Neosho, Joplin, Carthage, and then kind of scattered about once you get up towards Stockton Lake. And this is what we're going to see through the evening. We only drop back to 65. Rain chances will taper a little bit late this evening, but temperatures pretty consistent across the region. We have one wave which is rotating through, but here's wave 2, here's wave 3, and even behind that is wave number 4 that we are going to see as we go through the next several days. All right, let's go through time. So we're going to watch this low. So here's our wave now, shoots off toward the east. Here comes our next batch of rain. This is going to roll in tomorrow night through the first half of the day on Thursday. This shoots by, another wave shoots across the northern plains, giving us showers on Friday. And then this system drops in for Saturday. Rain Saturday into Sunday, but also at the same time, it ushers in quite a bit cooler air by the time we head into early next week, just in time for Halloween. So it's really going to feel like it once we get into early next week. But rain chances stick around, so kind of on and off tonight, and then they spike up again late tomorrow night into Thursday morning. All right, let me walk you through the overnight hours. Hit and miss showers. Here's midnight, hit and miss showers into the morning hours, so have the rain gear with you in the morning. As we go through the morning hours, increasing a little bit, a band works through during the afternoon. Temperatures still, I think, mid-70s, and then rain increases again late tomorrow night through the first half of the day on Thursday. I think by Thursday afternoon, we get a little bit of a break until late Friday, and then showers will start to sneak back in. All right, rainfall amounts just over the next 2 days. It's not going to be heavy, but I think most of us a quarter, maybe a half an inch, maybe a little bit heavier in some spots. Day planner for you tomorrow, mid-70s, showers especially into the early afternoon hours. 73 Thursday, showers again, especially late Friday. Overall, it looks like just kind of a cloudy, dreary weekend. It looks like it's going to rain most of the weekend. Look at our high, 50 Sunday, down to 30 Monday morning, and a high of Monday, only 48 on Halloween. I need to put a pumpkin up there, but high temp of only 51.
The graphic looks backwards because we see clouds on the warmer days and sunshine on the chilly ones.
There you go.
Thanks, Todd. Hey, not my feel like it right now, but winter is just around the corner, and experts say now is the time to make sure vehicles, aging vehicles in particular, are ready for the cold. AAA research shows that vehicles 10 years old and older are twice as likely to end up stranded on the side of the road compared to newer vehicles. Top of that, the odds of needing a tow quadruples. Experts say check equipment like batteries and tires to make sure they're in good working condition. They also say make sure your vehicle has plenty of correct fluid, and AAA recommends you get a bumper-to-bumper health check and take advantage of seasonal discounts. You can go to KOAMnewsnow.com for more information. Still ahead, 2 more volleyball district championships are up for grabs in Missouri tonight, and fans get their first look at this year's Missouri Southern basketball teams. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
It's one of the most exciting times of the year for high school volleyball players, coaches, and fans. Over the weekend and early into this week, we've continued to crown sub-state champions and district champions throughout Missouri. Tonight, 2 more of our local teams will hoist a trophy, and 2 more will have their seasons come to an end. Starting first with the Class 3 District 12 Championship, that's over in Monette. Top 2 seeds in the district meet in the championship match, Nevada and Mount Vernon. The Lady Tigers swept their semifinal match against Seneca. So did the Mountaineers, though, who easily dispatched of Cassville. These 2 Big 8 rivals have met once in the regular season. Nevada won that one 3-1. We'll have highlights of round 2 tonight at 10. That match taking place over in Monette. Meanwhile, in Verona, another district championship happening between Thomas Jefferson Independent and College Heights Christian. The winner goes on to the state tournament. Now, this is a battle for the Class 1 District 10 championship. Thomas Jefferson is the 1 seed in this tournament, but the Cavaliers close in their semifinal match last night against the host team Verona, winning 3-1. College Heights, meanwhile, swept Macaulay Catholic last night. The Cavaliers won the only regular season meeting between these two. That was a match that went to the 5th set. College basketball season coming around the corner. We're just over a week away from the first exhibition played by any of the college hoops programs at our 2 local universities, Pitt State and Missouri Southern. Tonight, folks get their first look at the Missouri Southern men's and women's basketball teams in 2023 at their Meet the Lions event taking place right now on Missouri Southern's Leggett and Platt Athletic Center. It's the first scrimmages of the year for the Lions. Moso women play an exhibition next Wednesday at Wichita State. Their first official game on November 10th. The Lions men begin their season that day as well. Major League Baseball's postseason rolls along. As we're into the final week in October, we already know one of the participants in this year's World Series. That's the Rangers, who won Game 7 of the ALCS in Houston late last night. Tonight we found out their opponent. That's whoever wins Game 7 of the National League Championship Series. Game 7 just about 40 minutes away. Diamondbacks have made this a close one. Looked like Philadelphia would roll to an easy series victory after winning the first 2 games handedly. But the D-backs have won 3 of the last 4 games. We'll find out tonight if the Phillies head to their 2nd consecutive World Series. That's all for sports. We're back right after.
Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. We're going to have more on a possible partnership between the historic Fox Theater and Pitt State. Plus, how 7-year-old twins in Joplin are getting fully into the Halloween spirit. And the CDC puts out its respiratory virus forecast for the fall and winter. Those stories, a lot more, of course. It's coming up tonight. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Diamond School District becomes the latest to plug into the esports arena. The main hurdles be finding space and the funding to buy equipment, which would allow students to perform at a high level, but Diamond is looking at possible grants to help cover that. School says its goal for the program is to pull in students who don't fit into the traditional after-school programs. They say that could improve attendance, also grades. The school also looks to create a sense of belonging. The games they're considering are Mario Kart, Rocket League, and other games of that nature. Kind of dreary out there, but we need some rain, Doug.
We do, and we're going to get on and off light showers sticking around as we go through the evening hours. And then hit and miss showers over the next several days. The heaviest looks to be probably over the weekend. Also notice the trend of the temperatures going downward as we head into the weekend and then into a chilly Halloween.
In fact, I see an overnight there of 29,
yeah,
so possibly below freezing.
We should get our first freeze.
Wow. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here for KOAM News at 10. Let's make it a great evening.